Here we go then, the last sprint of the season, the last of 2025. Norris to the right, Verstappen to the left. Lights out and away we go in Qatar. It's a good start from Lando Norris on the right-hand side. Russell's going to follow in behind and tuck in right behind. Verstappen's an awful getaway. Piastri in the meantime with a really good run around the outside on Max Verstappen, pushed all the way to the outside but makes the move stick. It's a great start from Oscar Piastri and so for George Russell too, but Norris holds the lead as we come through the first few corners and up towards the end of the first sector, and the Ferraris in the background, they got away okay too. Of course they're all fighting and vying for the championship. But it's Norris, Russell, Piastri, Verstappen, Alonso, Sainz, West and Antonelli, your top 8. Bortoleto and Hülkenberg complete your top 10 coming through the first few corners. And well, it's perfect for Lando Norris. He's after a win this season, another one for him. George Russell in the Mercedes after and vying for the top step of the podium for the first time this season. Oscar Piastri and Max Verstappen looking to try and hold the World Championship and keep it in their favour. If they don't score big this weekend, maybe if they don't outscore West or Hamilton, it's looking unlikely that they'll win the World Championship when it comes to Abu Dhabi, or even be in the running when it gets to lap 1 and turn number 1 in Abu Dhabi too. But as we come out the final corner then, Verstappen's going to have a really good run on Oscar Piastri as we come down with no DRS yet, but Max Verstappen has got the opportunity to go down the inside at turn 1. Max Verstappen sticks a wheel up the inside and Oscar Piastri is going to try and fight it. Contact between the two of them, but Piastri is going to try and hold this out. I think he might, but Verstappen's going to hold it all the way around the outside and he holds it well. Up to P3, Max Verstappen in the Red Bull. Well, Antonelli in the background's also got past West, Hülkenberg and Bortoleto in the mix, potentially splitting the two Ferraris at the moment. Lewis Hamilton currently in 11th and 4 points behind West in the championship coming into today's sprint. Russell in the meantime is 3 tenths behind Lando Norris now as we come through turn 7, the long sweeping right-hander. And well, we'll follow through. As you can see, this is a huge challenge for these drivers especially. And well, now as we come out of on towards turn number 11 through 12, 13 and 14, these long sweeping right-handers. Carlos Sainz and Fernando Alonso, by the way, 5th and 6th for the moment, do really well in the Williams and the Aston Martin respectively. They're on the podium in Catalonia, of course, back at the Spanish Grand Prix a few months ago, but it's all been too easy so far for George Russell to stay on the back of Lando Norris in the McLaren. He's not had the best of seasons, Lando, but now he's going to be under pressure from the Mercedes. All the way on the back, here we come. Here comes George Russell, pushing towards the inside on the medium tyre. And well, this could be a change of the lead for the race. Norris is going to hold the outside as we come through towards turn number 2 on the racetrack. But Russell held out by Norris. And well, now this is going to bring the 4-time world champion Max Verstappen into play. Verstappen needs to make up the ground today, needs to make every overtake, every sector count, because he needs to be up there. But George Russell riding on board of him now, a little slide on the exit, but George Russell still holding out here. And we come through the long right-hander, hold all as you dare, and all the outside curb you want. But Lando Norris still holding the lead here. And well, this is absolutely perfect for Verstappen and Piastri for getting them back in the championship hunt. West to the Hamilton to the inside on Gabriel Bortoleto, and Gabriel Bortoleto held the outside, and I think he's trumped the 7-time world champion and one of our championship protagonists this year. Gabriel Bortoleto doing an excellent job of holding 10th position and giving Nico Hülkenberg a chance to potentially jump Antonelli into turn 1. But as we look forward now, West on Carlos Sainz moves towards the inside and gets the move, sweeping down the inside he goes, and will have it all done and sorted by turn number 1. Antonelli has got past Alonso as well in the foreground, and Hamilton now up to 10th, as well as Yuki Tsunoda. Bortoleto's dropping down like a stone, and well, now this might be key for the race then. The top 4 all covered by a second, and now this could be big for Verstappen and Piastri to try and make up some ground on those soft tyres before they go off towards the latter end of the race. Remember, the mediums, they're going to last a bit longer than the softs. They'll be a bit more racy at this stage of the race. But Lando Norris, Russell, Verstappen, Piastri, West, and Sainz, Antonelli, and Alonso currently in the points playing positions. West goes very deep in the background, and well, the Ferrari will lose a few places like that. And well, we said about Bortoleto dropping like a stone. He's fallen in behind that Kimi Antonelli. And well, it looked like he just lost it under braking. And maybe, well, it's not good for West at all. Not good for him and his championship hopes. Because he needs to hold the lead if he wants to be competitive when it comes to Abu Dhabi. He said he loves it round there. He raced it round there in the lower formulas too. But, well, Russell now with DRS on Lando Norris. And will look to maybe try and make this stick. Russell tries to fake towards the outside and then pulls to the inside. George Russell to the lead of the sprint, and Verstappen in behind gets a perfect move done as well, and well, keeps the position against Oscar Piastri. But Norris, in the meantime, has conceded up to George Russell and the Mercedes in leading the Grand Prix here in Qatar. And well, Max Verstappen will now try and tuck in behind last year's championship rival Lando Norris. Of course, everybody expects him this year to potentially be in the mix for the World Championship, but he dropped off even throughout the start of the season. Many retirements, many disappointing results for Lando Norris, but reliability hasn't been on his side. But I'm sure in 2026, when the regulations change, McLaren could be right at the top again, but we'll need to see who gets it right and who gets it wrong. But still 2 Grand Prix left after today, 50 points still up for grabs. And well, who do you look towards? Russell and Norris separated by 0.7 of a second as we come across DRS once again, lap 6 of the sprint in Qatar. Oscar Piastri in the background's going to go for it on Max Verstappen. Down the inside we go, the two of them fighting it out, the two championship rivals, and Piastri jumps Verstappen at turn 1, and it's a perfect move down the inside from the Papaya McLaren, and now they're up into P3, and McLaren are running 2 cars in the podium positions again. And well, Max Verstappen, he almost let that happen. He knows that if he just stays within Oscar Piastri's that second gap, you'll be fine. West and Antonelli are fighting now. And now, I haven't even noticed this, Lewis Hamilton up to 8th. So, there are now no cars between the top 2 in the championship, and the sprint is about to get even more exciting than it already has been. West, well, the longer he stays behind Antonelli and Sainz, the worse and the harder his race could get. Hamilton will be on the charge, knowing that he needs to try and get as many points as he can on West, and keeps going wide. Something's not right about that Ferrari at all. They knew they'd have a difficult weekend at Qatar. They need to be good on engine power, but not on any of the aerodynamics. This year's car hasn't been too perfect for Ferrari in handling, but they've won the Constructors' Championship already. Piastri down the inside, around the outside of Lando Norris, and Piastri is going to try using the soft tyres and the extra traction to push Norris out of the way. And well, that might be a bit of papaya rules at play from Zach Brown and the pit wall. But Oscar Piastri up to P2 and has an extra bonus point over Max Verstappen now. So, is that a bit of a power play from McLaren, or is that trying to separate the 2 championship rivals, Piastri and Verstappen? And well, Sainz and West are still battling at it, and West is really trying to get past Carlos Sainz. Antonelli's now up to 5th, and Hamilton is slowly catching 3/10 the gap now between the 2 Brits. And well, this could be a big moment for these drivers. West currently on 361 points in the championship. Hamilton 357, 4 behind. Piastri 335 with 26 left. Verstappen 326 to minus 35 behind. And well, this is absolutely key for Verstappen and Piastri's World Championship, because there's only 58 points left at the end of lap 10, and now West will have a run on Carlos Sainz and maybe also on Kimi Antonelli too. Sainz pulls towards the outside, but dummies to the inside again. West can't quite get past because of Sainz, but Antonelli holds position and does it brilliantly. Good defence from the Mercedes driver, and well, the rookie is really enjoying his first season in Formula 1. Maybe next year, Mercedes rumoured to be the top team in the of all 11 to maybe triumph next year. Also, we've got Audi and Cadillac joining in, but maybe Mercedes could be right at the top, and a win in the sprint here for George Russell would be great momentum going into Abu Dhabi to enjoy the last race as well. Mercedes haven't stood on the top step since Las Vegas 2024, remember, in this season. George Russell going to ride on alongside him now. Oscar Piastri 6 tenths behind, and maybe making quite a few gains as we come through the long sweeping right-handers to 12 to 14 and the left to 15, and now this is where the DRS detection point is. 5 tenths down the gap, so Oscar Piastri is making huge gains coming out of the last sector, and now he'll have DRS. 4 tenths the gap now. This is absolutely perfect for Oscar Piastri. DRS open, pulls to the inside, and Oscar Piastri, even before turn 1, has the move done on George Russell. Verstappen into P3 on Lando Norris as well. So the two championship rivals have an extra point each, and Oscar Piastri will now maybe try to go and run away with it. But West and Hamilton now going close to even a second with each other. Might this be a last gasp battle for some more points for the two Ferraris? Sainz and Antonelli trying to hold 5th and 6th. I know how much it would mean for their teams and also their own championship positions. In terms of the prize money, remember, Mercedes and Williams and Red Bull 3rd to 5th currently in the Constructors' Championship, and I think they're going to be really enjoying this battle as well as the prize money ahead of next year. Well, Max Verstappen 3 tenths behind George Russell now, and maybe the soft tyres might have been the perfect tyre to go on, because Russell is slower than Max Verstappen. Through the detection point we go towards the last corner, and now Max Verstappen is really going to try and have a go with DRS open down the main straight, pulls to the right hand side. Max Verstappen up into P2 on the last lap. Norris is going to follow him through and gets up into P3. Papaya with 2 cars in the top 3 again, and well, Sainz and Antonelli are battling it out as well. Look at this, battles all over with the last opportunity of DRS available. And well, it looks like Carlos Sainz is holding out on Kimi Antonelli. They're going to stay side by side all the way up towards turn 4. And now, Kimi Antonelli pushed all the way to the outside. Carlos Sainz, West even having a look too, and goes a little bit deep round the outside of Carlos Sainz. And well, Ferrari, goes a bit deep as well for good measure. But Kimi Antonelli up to 5th, and I think that's probably where he's going to stay. Carlos Sainz in the meantime, and West is really trying to hound the back of the Williams. But Lewis Hamilton in the meantime also really having a go at his Ferrari teammate, because he knows how much the points would mean to him. But Carlos Sainz in the meantime, Oscar Piastri coming through the last few corners now. He's done a perfect sprint race. Jumped his teammate thanks to some papaya rules. But Oscar Piastri is going to take the fight to the top 2. And Oscar Piastri will win the sprint race in Qatar. A brilliant momentum to take into Sunday. But Max Verstappen in 2nd, Norris 3rd. And I think West got Sainz on the last lap as well. But Russell, Antonelli, West, Sainz and Hamilton, your top 8. But Oscar Piastri is your sprint winner. Well, a fantastic day then for McLaren and for Oscar Piastri. Another sprint win in 2025. Well, looking at your top 3 then, Piastri, Verstappen and Norris gets on the podium again this season. Good stuff from Max Verstappen, really helping his championship chances too. Let's look at the top 10 then. Well, Russell, Antonelli, West, Sainz, Hamilton, Tsunoda and Alonso your top 10. Remember, Hamilton and West have lost a bit of ground in the championship now, but Russell and Antonelli with some big points in the World Championship for Mercedes. Lando Norris also with some more championship points too. Good work from him today to get on the podium. Looking at the driver standings then going into tomorrow's race, well, West on top, 364, Hamilton 358, Piastri 343, closing the gap to 15 to Lewis Hamilton now, Max Verstappen 333, still in it with a shout, but could be knocked out if Hamilton and West finish ahead in tomorrow's race.